Hey, what's up, y'all? I was popping this D. Boss reacts to this vid by Patrick CC. This is the downward spiral of Orlando Brown. I feel for this man, to be honest. Every time I've seen him, he looks like he's on all of the drugs, all of them. And I can do nothing but shake my head, but I don't know how we got here. But we're going to find out, I guess, from this video. Let's watch. See? I don't know what drug this is, or a combination of drugs, but I don't want it.
Y'all see that little white ass baby with that?
Who white ass
All
baby?
my kids look like me, goddammit.
Okay.
I know the
You got
strength of
kids?
my come. Trying to kill me. I got to have sex with one handicapped girl. It was one handicapped bitch. And Shanell, and it's like, come on, man. Stop trying to make me look unsmart.
This is what can happen when a child works a full-time job from age 8, making all kinds of money that is being mismanaged or potentially stolen, on top of experiencing all kinds of dark things that go on behind the scenes out of the public view. Stay hydrated. Orlando Brown was a funny child, full of energy and had an infectious personality. Growing up in Los Angeles, California, his parents knew it was possible to get their child into acting. His godfather knew of a young talent management agency, and after a few auditions, he landed his first role as Tiger in the movie Major Payne. The movie wasn't wildly successful, but it is a classic 90s family film with great jokes and a heartwarming ending. I personally love this movie. Acting alongside Damon Wayans and Karen Parsons was a huge resume builder, especially for his first film.
I had no idea he was
became a go-to in Hollywood for a funny, adorable child
I thought he
role.
started
From 1995 to 2000, Orlando had 17 different TV roles. Family Matters, The Jamie Foxx Show, Safe Harbor, and Two of a Kind were his biggest gigs. From age 8 to 13, Orlando was working harder than
I thought his first gig was That's So Raven. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had no idea about all this.
Ever have in my whole life. But in the 2000s, he didn't slow down. He would land a huge role on the Disney Channel alongside Raven Simone. Raven was a very successful child star. She and Orlando both acted alongside Damon Wayans. They were both on popular sitcoms. They were both go-to child stars for family-friendly shows, films, and cartoons. They interconnected with all the same people in Hollywood for a few years now, so it only made sense to give them a show together. That's So Raven. The idea was created by Michael Poirier, creator of Hannah Montana, as well as produced by David Brookwell and Sean McNamara, who created Even Stevens. The show was bound for success. Raven Baxter is a psychic high school student that allows her to see visions of the future. Often the plot revolves around Raven trying to prevent this vision from happening because she didn't like the outcome. Usually she miscalculates the events, which gets her, her friends, or family into even more trouble. Raven's two best friends, Chelsea and Eddie, are the only ones that know about her abilities and act as her confidants throughout the show. Eddie, played by Orlando Brown, is the athletic, overconfident, aspiring rapper.
Believe me, you ain't never heard a young man that can blaze the track.
Oh my God.
Chelsea, played by Annalise van der Pol, is the dumb blonde stereotype best friend. The show was known for its wacky plots, intricate costumes, and integrated music. Raven, Anna, and Orlando are all talented musicians, not just comedians. Anna has had a 15-year career on Broadway. Raven was the frontwoman of the Cheetah Girls, who performed world tours and sold millions of albums. And Orlando, we'll talk about his music career in a bit. This was the Disney Channel's first multi-camera sitcom, and it was reported to be the highest rating original program in the network's history. 100 episodes total, averaging over 3 million viewers per episode. The show and cast were nominated for various awards over 50 times. The roaring success of That's So Raven led to Fillmore, where Orlando voiced the main character. Then the Proud Family movie and TV show where he voiced Sticky Webb.
Well, peep this.
I didn't know that.
To pick up a signal from the government.
Wow, this man's resume is
Orlando
long.
had a wildly successful youth acting career for over 10 years.
I remember when I couldn't have none of this stuff, you know what I mean? So to save up and to be able to have and go in and say, you know what, I want that for myself. I have it now.
Orlando was on top of the world, but he had a slip-up. He was arrested. In 2007, Orlando was driving through the west side of Houston at 1 a.m. when he was pulled over because his headlights were off. He consented to a search and the officer found some grass on the driver's side door. He was charged with misdemeanor possession and released on bond. I didn't know what was in the car. That's not what I do. I consider myself a youth activist, he said. I don't want this arrest lingering over my head. I love what I do. Why jeopardize what I built? An honest mistake, a sincere apology. But Disney in 2007 demanded the squeaky clean image of their actors, so the repercussions were brutal. From here, he never worked with Disney ever again.
Oh, over some weed, Disney? some weed. It wasn't crack or nothing like that. Like, damn, y'all couldn't let my nigga get a pass. That's fucked up.
Was always
he said, all right, I'm turning to hard drugs now.
Instead of going the typical route of signing to a major label and using his Disney fame as leverage, he decided to remain independent.
Young Star Entertainment, the League Entertainment coming to you soon. You know what I'm talking about? M-Law, Young Star, we out.
Peter Pan was the name of his new single that was an attempt to capitalize on the ringtone rap dance era 2 years after Soulja Boy peaked. At this time, he seemed to have a good outlook on the way it was all going.
Everything is a blessing. I can't complain about that. I'm just happy with my life.
However, none of his music ever hit Billboard, never earned any certifications, or got any mainstream publicity. He never did any tours and barely did live performances outside of maybe a club appearance or an empty baseball stadium.
No.
Other than a Facebook page, I can't even be certain that Young Star Entertainment is a real business. Sure, some of the songs did get decent YouTube views, but without the support of the music industry, I'd be willing to bet he never made any substantial money from music. Any publicity he got from red carpet events he would use to promote his music.
So what's going on with you? Well, you know, I'm pushing my new single to Peter Pan. It's some brand new dance.
His new sitcom, The Orlando Brown Show.
I wrote The Orlando Brown Show, which is my sitcom. I have a reality show. I have a cartoon. I got a lot of stuff going on.
He promoted these two projects for years, but I could not find any proof that they ever existed. Conspiracy theorists might suggest that he was blackballed and exiled from the entertainment industry because of Disney. Or the more likely reason is while pursuing an independent career, making shows, films, and music, corporations can't make as much money off of you, therefore they probably don't want to do business with you. So maybe these projects did exist, but he couldn't get them off the ground without a substantial amount of cash. His first DUI. In 2011, Brown was driving in Hollywood without a license plate. After pulling him over, the cops suspected he was drunk, and after failing a sobriety test, he was booked in the famous Hollywood station. After failing to appear for court, he became wanted for failing to prove that he enrolled in an alcoholic education class, which then led to another DUI. Clearly, he has a problem with drinking and driving, but he still seemed to be in good spirits.
What happens is when you're young, and you're a child star, whatever.
Like he on drugs already.
Yeah, so, you know, no one's going to believe it right now. My music, I'll stop it because of the Disney thing and everything. But, you know, the fans know I've been trying for years.
So how was he making money? How was he surviving if his music career was failing? People think that Disney stars are rich and set for life. This couldn't be further from the truth. The highest paid Disney stars are looking at maybe $30,000 per episode. There are also no royalty deals. Disney stars don't even get into...
That's it? That's it? That's crazy. I thought they were making way more than that.
Disneyland for free. You think they're paying you for their reruns? So $30K would be like main character money with managers that know how to negotiate.
And that's
Orlando
main
being
character.
a side character, I would say $15,000 per episode with a good deal. 100 episodes, that's $1.5 million over 4 years. On top of animated shows and films, it's possible he could have made a few $1 million over his 12-year run. But most children don't have any concept of the money they're making.
See, let me tell you something. As a kid, you don't know that you're getting paid.
Most of the time, families are poorly managing the money or straight up stealing it. We have no actual proof, but judging by the way the rest of his story goes, it indicates he was struggling. Orlando Brown sentenced to 180 days in jail. He just kept evading the courts, failing to pay his DUI fines, and failing to complete his alcohol education class. When he got out, things got worse. Orlando was outside a 40-year-old woman's apartment in North Hollywood threatening her. She claimed they were acquaintances and he made sexual passes at her, in which she denied, which led him to exploding in rage. Orlando says the woman was stalking him, and he went to the apartment to tell her boyfriend nothing was going on between them. His story doesn't really make any sense, and you can feel this is another drug-induced episode. He managed to land a short cameo in Straight Outta Compton, as well as a lead role in an indie film called Smoke-Filled Lungs. But the big news of 2015 was That's So Raven reunion on The View.
Hey Kyle, can you come out here please?
Right now.
He high right here. Something's off.
The link-up was wholesome, and everyone seemed to be positive and happy. Orlando showed off his terrible hand tattoo of the cast, which Raven loved. But there was a particular question asked on The View that sparked a lot of people's interest.
Who dated the most cast and crew members? I might go on the leaf of random pool on this.
I think they're calling me a slut is what's happening.
No, it was just we all had a really nice relationship with each other. And we're gonna keep it real simple.
Yeah, we did.
This clip seems harmless, but it's pretty obvious that the 4 cast members all know what Raven was hinting at, but the audience has no idea. We also know this clip was changed in post-production because the promotional clip for the episode had something else in there.
We used to date. We used to break up.
So the part where Orlando says, "we used to date," was used in the promo clip, but cut out of the real episode. Raven did deny the allegations, but only the people who were in the audience that day know what was said. But Orlando kept opening up about the past.
I mean, was there any resentment in the cast with her being chosen for the lead role after
Oh
the
no,
fact?
because at the time I was dating her at the time.
If he is telling the truth, that would mean that Raven was 15 and Orlando was 13 when they started dating. Since the show officially started filming in 2001, and Orlando said they were already together before the show even started. He took it one step further, though.
Oh, that was in the song. And yes, I did eat the pussy. I ain't gonna lie, I ate the pussy.
At the time, it was hard to tell if he was joking, serious, or delusional. I think it's obvious why he wasn't invited to do the That's So Raven reboot, Raven's Home. It's probably worth mentioning that before this first Vlad TV interview, he got arrested for striking his girlfriend, which resulted in police finding methamphetamine on him. With all the new attention on Orlando from the interview, combined with an alleged drug problem, things got worse.
I don't understand why people are just mad at me because I got to have sex with one handicapped girl. It was one handicapped bitch.
What was the handicap bitch? Not crying in the shower?
What?
See, let me tell you something. Stevie Wonder's not really blind. You fell for that the whole time.
And I'm white mixed with
Oh my
German.
goodness.
You know, I'm a mother.
No.
You know, I don't do these things. Why would I smoke crack?
The brown of the tip.
That's what I'm asking.
It was it's what you call it, the areola. The areola, yeah, the areola, yeah. I remember just the areola.
His follower counts were rising, enabling more of this behavior. Vlad invited him back.
I mean, I told you in the first interview. I mean, she gave me, and I gave her some.
From here, he got more interviews.
They said, can you explain?
I ate her.
Okay. That's what the...
I had the bubble of nem cakes. I went inside the land of the man that wants to go inside if he can, but couldn't do it, man. But I did. I said I could do it, and I can.
When you said what you said,
I do.
People ain't shit for enabling this behavior though, and like egging it on and like, yeah, come interview with us so we can make fun of you while you hide. Like that's fucked up, but it is what it is. That's just what media does.
I do. Yeah.
I'm sure you're thinking, what does Raven have to say about all this?
Nothing.
What the hell is up with that madman Orlando Brown? Last year he had put a video saying he got you pregnant, abortion. What the hell is going on?
Well, the new show, Raven's Home, airs Friday nights at 8 o'clock.
Period.
So that's what happened there.
Raven won't address the situation or
Period. I already fucking know it. Raven said, I want a part of this crackhead shit.
give it any more attention. However, there was one little thing she said last year that had people wondering if she was talking about Orlando.
You know what's funny? A lot of my relationships I have confidentialities with. So I'm technically not allowed to talk about. I have been in a lot of different kinds of relationships, but my first true love relationship was both pleasurable and miserable and heartbreaking and heartfelt and heart-filled. It was a journey.
How old were you?
That relationship lasted, well, I started in that relationship at 13 years old and it ended in like 20.
She claims to have NDAs for her previous relationships.
I don't think she talking about him because she was real quick to be like, we never dated. Like, nigga, stop lying when they were on the show. But why would you deny that when you were with him for that many years? She said from 13 to 27 years, you just completely like, nah, that never happened. Like, I don't think she would do that, so I don't think she's talking about Orlando, honestly.
If that was the case, then Orlando
She probably did do
definitely
something with him.
violating those terms. However, 13 to 20 was roughly the timeline of her being on That's So Raven, a little before and a little after. Raven being 13 would make Orlando 11 at the time. The stories don't match up perfectly, but some people really believe Orlando is telling the truth despite his obvious shaky mental state. Orlando
It's
got a
shaky as
tattoo
fuck.
of Raven on his neck.
That
He was
ain't
about to
nobody's
enter
Raven.
probably his darkest times. He got
That
arrested by
is
some
not
bounty
Raven.
hunters who broke into the home he was staying at and took him into custody.
You got possession, you have a PC 148, PC 243.
After he got out, he was arrested again for skipping drug court. During the arrest, he
Oh,
also
that
had a
tattoo is
meth pipe
terrible.
on him. At this time, he also had a warrant out for domestic battery. A few months later, he would be arrested again, this time for trying to change the locks on the doors of a friend's restaurant. Another weird situation, but this time it landed him in jail for 15 days. After he got out...
Get away from my house, yo.
I'm away from your house. I'm away. I'm off your
If you
property.
come back over, I'm gonna knock you the fuck
I'm
out.
off your property.
With all these problems stacking up, Orlando's friends and family decided it was best for Dr. Phil to intervene and try to help him. For some reason, nobody in the comments
What's
talked
up
about
with
these
eyes?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle contacts he was wearing, as if it was totally normal.
Today I'm glad to say I'm 4 years sober, and you know it's been quite a journey.
I mean, he is gaining weight.
After this interview, it was very clear how far drugs had taken him. He wasn't able to remember how many kids he had or their ages.
What's the 2-year-old's name?
2-year-old, still in the belly. Still in the belly. We don't know yet.
No, you on drugs.
You said the 2-year-old don't know the name because it's still in the belly.
That's because I have a baby on the way as well. I just mentioned
So
that.
the 2-year-old is still in the belly, so that means that that child has been in there for 2 years.
Not necessarily.
Orlando had hit rock bottom, so the only way to go was up. For the next year or so, there wasn't much Orlando content, but he started releasing music consistently, and he looked a lot healthier. And his music actually isn't that bad.
Any picture gay and it's co-star gay now. Anything I say, get it by the make it place now. Any motherfucker talk shit, get laid down.
Sure, he has some wild conspiracy bars in there, like, I can't believe y'all still think Stevie Wonder is
Oh my
blind.
goodness.
But I
Leave
mean, in
that man
terms of
alone.
flow
He
and
ain't bothering
delivery,
nobody.
it's not bad. I wish I could tell you this was the redemption story, but it wasn't. A clip of him after getting beat up went viral. Then he would go on manic tirades claiming that he is Michael Jackson's son, and he owns the Neverland Ranch, as well as claiming that he is Will Smith's son.
Hey man, that nigga Michael Jackson, bro. You feel me? That nigga Michael Jackson, bro. That nigga set me up, bro. I'm Trent. I'm your long lost son, Trent. I'm Trent.
This man is dead. Leave him alone.
The real Will Smith, motherfucker.
He also frequently talks about other rappers being gay because it gets attention. There's a large community of people out there that try to expose rappers for being gay in their private lives.
I know Young Buck's gay. Trey Songz, yeah, I've heard about Trey Songz.
Y'all talking about, I believe me telling the truth when he talking about he Michael Jackson's son, and he, stop it.
This
nigga ain't lying.
Boys.
Wait, sorry. I get with these stupid ass comments.
I know Young Buck's gay.
Young
Trey Songz, yeah, I've heard about Trey Songz sucking a few dicks in his lifetime. I happen to know Diddy boys.
He went viral for changing his behavior, getting sober, and giving his life to his religion. Fans on the internet hadn't been tapped in with his life too much, and
I
probably
don't think
only
Jesus
remembered
saved
him
me.
from his
I don't
Vlad/Dr. Phil episodes. So this seemed like a monumental step, and it is a big step.
Oh,
His
he's
life is
getting
pretty
it.
unpredictable. One day the police are in his house, the next day he's exposing rappers.
How Diddy's trying to kill me.
Then he's on No Jumper appearing to be sober, even though he kind of denies ever being on drugs.
How long you been in recovery for?
Recovery from
Drugs or alcohol?
I haven't been in.
Oh, so you don't fuck with that at all. I was kind of the impression that...
Oh yeah, nah, bro. Nah.
However, conspiracies and
Nigga,
wacky
you
live
got-
streams aside, he seems to be doing fine these days. Maybe even working at this pizza shop.
On the jizzle. I hope
Ultimately,
not.
Orlando is going to continue to have ups and downs. Addiction is a vicious cycle that has even plagued my family. It seems like the drugs and
I mean,
alcohol
everybody.
may have had some permanent
If
effects
I
on
had
his
a
brain,
crackhead
but he's
auntie
still
or uncle.
talented, still funny, and still trying to better himself. And the fact that he's still trying is monumental. We can only hope he has a support system that can
Is that his
prevent
bed?
things from getting out of control again. And maybe one day we can see an iconic comeback from the Eddie we once knew.
This is really sad. I really do hope that he gets the help that he needs, but I can't with stupid people like, I believe him. He's speaking facts. This man said that he's Michael Jackson's son. And then in the interview, when they asked him, how long have you been sober? What you mean? I've never seen no drugs in my life. You got caught several times with drugs with a meth pipe. What are we talking about? You're not living in reality. So I'm going to say that I don't believe none of you saying at this point because you just talking out the side of your neck. So, yeah, I don't think anything he's saying is credible. But, yeah, it's unfortunate that we, get entertainment from people acting crazy and on drugs. But I did laugh a few times at some of the clips that I've seen of him because it's so ridiculous. It's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? And it is kind of funny. And, you know, he has a comedic background. So, you know, I feel like that comes out a lot when he's hot. So the shit be funny sometimes. But I really do hope that he is free from all drugs. And he goes to live a happy life because this is a very sad story. Y'all let me know what y'all thought, though. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.